Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a fascinating and very unique turn. We're plunging into a single, highly concentrated source. It's a devotional message for December 1st by Pastor Huja Kang, and the whole theme, the thing that holds it all together is God is in control.
Exactly, but this is not just a simple religious meditation. Not at all. What makes this so compelling for a deep dive is how it's almost like a strategic blueprint. It takes ancient wisdom, threads from 2 Corinthians, Colossians, Ecclesiastes, and then it weaves that together with these powerful, really surprising historical stories. And then on top of that, it lays out a very specific modern digital ministry strategy.
So our mission today is to kind of cut through the spiritual language and pull out the practical methods for resilience. We want to understand, quickly and thoroughly how this source argues that relentless praise, even when life is just devastating, is the key to overcoming depression. And also why having these spiritual companions, this sort of built-in support system, is just absolutely essential.
Yeah, it's almost like a study in survival psychology, but it's all wrapped in a theological framework. It gives you the why God is in control, but I think more importantly, it offers you the how. How do you respond when everything feels completely out of control?
Okay, so let's unpack the foundation of this. It starts right away with 2 Corinthians 1.3-5, a famous passage, right? It describes God as the Father of mercies and God of all comfort. But here's the paradox that the source points out immediately. The author, Paul, was in the middle of, extreme hardship when he wrote this. Physical, psychological, all of it.
And that's the key point the pastor pulls out. Paul chose to begin his letter not with a complaint, not with a plea for rescue. He starts with a song of praise. And the source suggests that this isn't just, spiritual optimism, it's a strategic choice. Paul had already learned that praise is a kind of a preemptive weapon. It's a crucial factor in beating sorrow and depression before they can even take root. He wasn't praising God for the bad circumstances, but for the character of the God who oversees them.
Okay, but doesn't that risk sounding like spiritual bypassing? If you're truly suffering, how does the source square that feeling of pain with the instruction to praise? Does Paul ever just admit that it's awful?
That's a great question. And the document does address it by clarifying the purpose of the comfort. It's not meant to just make the pain go away instantly. It's supposed to transform the pain's utility. The theology here is really pragmatic. The comfort you receive in your own affliction isn't supposed to stop with you. No, it's meant to equip you so that you can then turn around and use that same comfort to console other people who are suffering. It basically turns your personal suffering from this paralyzing burden into an asset, a transferable, empowering asset for helping others.
So praise brings the comfort, and then the comfort powers the action of helping other people. Okay, that's a clear mechanism.
Precisely. And this whole mechanism is tied directly to identity. The source reinforces this with another detail from Colossians 1.13, and that verse describes believers as beloved citizens in Jesus Christ.
Beloved citizens. This is interesting civic language. How does that connect to stability?
It reinforces this idea of protection, of jurisdiction. The source really emphasizes that because you're a beloved citizen, God protects your faith, your core identity, your stability from being destroyed by life's pressures. So even if you're facing something that could crush someone else, it can't ultimately destroy the foundation of your faith. Your identity secures your stability, and that gives you a reason to praise even when everything around you is terrible.
Okay, so to show this almost impossible mental shift, going from despair to gratitude, the pastor uses an anecdote that, frankly, is just mind-blowing. We're moving from ancient Corinth all the way to 17th century Saxony to a man named Pastor Martin Ringart.
This story is the historical proof of concept. Ringart was a pastor in a town called Eilenburg during maybe the most brutal period in European history, the 30 Years' War. And to really get the pressure he was under, you have to picture this town. It was constantly besieged, occupied, there was famine, plague, people were literally starving in the streets.
So just continuous, prolonged trauma for years.
Absolutely. And Ringart's job during all this was just overwhelming. The source gives a number that, when I first read it, it just stopped me cold. Ringart personally conducted over 10,000 funerals.
Wait, say that again. 10,000. That sounds less like a pastor's job and more like a historical anomaly. It's a daily encounter with death and fear for years. How did he even survive that psychologically?
The source holds him up as the perfect example of this paradox of praise. In the middle of this devastating experience where his entire life was just burying victims of war and disease, he wrote one of the most famous hymns ever, "Now Thank We All Our God."
Yeah.
And get this, he didn't even write it for his church at first. He wrote it for his own children as a prayer to say before meals.
He responded to overwhelming death with an act of profound, intimate gratitude. That is the ultimate test of that mechanism we were just talking about. The ability to find a reason for praise no matter what.
Right, it proves that gratitude isn't a luxury for peaceful times. It's a necessity during conflict. I mean, if a man facing a literal mountain of death, 10,000 funerals, could hold on to that thanks and write a hymn that still inspires millions, the source even notes it's still used today, like Song 305 and some hymnals, then that whole argument holds immense power for dealing with hardship today.
Okay, so that historical context really grounds the individual need for faith. But this devotional says that enduring faith isn't an individual sport.
Let's shift gears now to this idea of resilience through community. It's based on a sermon theme from Beipu Church. This powerful idea of the 3-in-1, or the cord of 3 strands.
This concept comes straight from Ecclesiastes 4, verse 12. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken.
Yeah.
The core message is that, look, going it alone, or even with just one other person, it's not enough. We need the strategic reinforcement that comes from a third element, a dedicated structure of spiritual companions. It's basically a blueprint for building an anti-fragile support network so you don't get isolated and defeated. And what's great about this source is how organized it is. It gives us 4 distinct categories of these 3s to think about. The first one is, of course, the most basic.
Right, the divine 3, the theological starting point. The one God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. The source even throws in a little bit of humor, telling the reader not to confuse this with, 3-in-1 coffee.
Right. Then we get to the human examples of companionship under pressure. First up, the United 3. Daniel's friends. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego.
Yeah, this trio is the example for unity in the face of the fiery furnace. Their story shows this absolute, non-negotiable loyalty that's strengthened by the group. And their famous statement really captures this resilient faith that maybe only a community can truly live out. God will save us, they say. But even if he does not, even if the worst happens, we will not break. We will maintain our faith. Their unity made them unbreakable.
But the source wisely includes the next group to kind of balance our expectations.
Yeah. The
imperfect 3. Jesus' closest students, Peter, James, and John.
Their inclusion is so important. I mean, for anyone trying to build a support structure today, this was the trio that saw Jesus at his absolute highest moment, the Transfiguration. But they were also the ones who failed him spectacularly. They fell asleep on him in Gethsemane during his deepest despair. It proves that even the companions you need, well, they're flawed. They fail. They can disappoint you. The strength is in the cord, not in the perfection of each individual strand.
And finally, the leadership 3. Moses, Joshua, and Caleb. This feels like a structure for longevity.
It is. It's all about mentorship and succession planning. Joshua and Caleb, they were the younger companions mentored by Moses. They kept their faith for 40 years, even while they were stuck with this faithless generation of Israelites wandering in the wilderness. And eventually, they stepped up. They maintained the spiritual direction and led the new generation into the promised land. So the cord of 3 strands here is about the successful continuity of faith and leadership. It proves the network is vital for long-term vision.
So we've got the spiritual strategy, praise as a weapon, and the structural need, the cord of 3 strands. Now the source brings all of this right into the 21st century. It details the current ministry efforts of Beipu Church, making the whole blueprint feel immediate, feel actionable.
Right, and the church operates with this high degree of urgency and focus. Their annual goal, which they set back in 2022, is massive. Global evangelization, expanding God's kingdom.
And that urgency is personal. The pastor mentions his own upcoming mandatory retirement at age 70. There's a rule from the Taiwan Presbyterian Church. As of the devotional state, he notes that he has about 6 years left. So that clock is ticking.
And it shapes their strategy dramatically. They recognize the post-pandemic reality, so they're pouring all this energy into their YouTube channel. They call it the gospel war chest approach.
Yeah.
They aren't just posting here and there. It's a full-on multimedia blitz.
It really is. They're producing material daily in Mandarin, Taiwanese, and English. It covers everything from morning devotionals to Bible study to this wonderfully unique program called Chatting and Eating Lunchbox. It's an aggressive, comprehensive output.
But here's where the financial paradox of this ministry and their deep trust in God is in control becomes just astonishing. Everything they produce is free. Membership on the channel gets rid of ads. And critically, donations are explicitly not requested.
Hold on a second. They run an intensive multilingual daily content creation operation, and they're actively turning away the main revenue stream of almost every other digital ministry out there. How is this even supported? Isn't that just defying modern digital economics.
It is a remarkable testament to what they believe. The source says the support comes entirely from volunteers, people who dedicate their time and their highly specialized skills, including people with expertise in AI and software. So this reliance on the shared talents of the community it's the modern version of the cord of three strands at work. They're relying on people, not pocketbooks.
And they're also transparent about the content's authenticity.
Yes. In a world full of synthetic content, the pastor makes a specific point that all their recordings are original. They're not generated by external AI tools. It's a statement about their reliance on human effort and skill. It's a disciplined, high-quality, volunteer-driven approach.
Wow. So this deep dive into just a single devotional has given us a really comprehensive strategic model for resilience. The interconnectedness of comfort, the relentless need for praise like we saw with Martin Rinkart, and that vital imperfect support of community. The cord of three strands. It's all presented as the foundation for navigating life's biggest challenges.
Absolutely. And the final call to action for you, the listener, is very practical. December is a time for gratitude and preparing for Christ's birth, which the source notes is also a solemn warning, since Christ died for sin. So believers are urged to apply this strategy in their daily lives, especially at work.
So you take the spiritual practice and apply it to professional ethics. The source specifically calls for avoiding opportunistic or illegal behavior, showing more tolerance and care for colleagues, and using wisdom with complex relationships. It's about showing genuine faith through your character, not just by what you say.
That's the real-world application. But to leave you with one final thought to mull over, let's go back one last time to Pastor Rinkart. He faced daily, unimaginable tragedy, but he responded by writing a hymn of thanks. So we'd ask you to reflect on the questions this devotional poses. What reasons for praise can you identify in your current circumstances, even the hard ones? And how does your own cord of three strands, your community, your closest support network, how does it strengthen your ability to respond to life's pressures with resilient faith instead of debilitating fear?
A deeply challenging and highly strategic way to look at spiritual and communal resilience. Thank you for diving into this powerful source with us today. Until next time, keep digging deeper.